In the secluded depths of an ancient forest, veiled in perpetual mist, lay the ruins of what was once Ashen Hollow Asylum. This colossal relic of despair, engulfed by the wilderness, was a sanctuary turned sepulchre for souls plagued by the darkest corners of the mind. The once grandiose edifice, a masterpiece of Gothic architecture adorned with towering spires that pierced the fog and endless corridors winding like the roots of the forest itself, now lay in ruins. Nature, in its relentless march, had woven its tendrils through the fractured masonry and shattered glass, as if to reclaim the land from the horrors that once dwelled within. The chilling embrace of the wind meandered through its forsaken halls, carrying with it the whispers of the past.
Welcome to my home!
The lore surrounding the abrupt and enigmatic closure of Ashen Hollow was as dense and impenetrable as the forest that harbored it. Tales passed down through generations spoke of a night when the veil between sanity and madness tore asunder. It was said that patients vanished without a trace, leaving behind nothing but the echoes of their pleas. Staff members, once pillars of strength and sanity, were reduced to hollow shells, their minds lost to the incomprehensible dread that infested the asylum's stone walls. The air was once filled with the sound of terror, screams that sliced through the night, creating a symphony of fear, until they were suddenly and inexplicably silenced, as if swallowed by the very darkness that enveloped the place. This ominous legacy, intertwined with the very essence of Ashen Hollow, left an indelible mark on the local populace. Whispers of the asylum's haunted past became the stuff of legend, a morbid curiosity for some and a warning to others. The forest itself seemed to guard the secrets of what transpired, with every rustle of its leaves and every shadow cast by the moonlight serving as a reminder of the unspeakable events that led to its downfall. Our tale unfolds with the arrival of Alex, a daring urban explorer with a voracious appetite for the mysteries that lay dormant in the ruins of the past. Driven by tales of haunting elegance intertwined with the tragic history of Ashen Hollow Asylum, Alex was determined to peel back the layers of time to expose the truth hidden within these legends. Equipped with a digital camera to capture the essence of abandonment and a robust flashlight to pierce the oppressive darkness, Alex was prepared to confront the supernatural, to document the desolate beauty, and perhaps to unearth stories long buried under the shroud of oblivion. As twilight surrendered to the encroaching shadows of night, Alex found themselves at the foreboding entrance of Ashen Hollow. The last rays of the sun fought in vain against the gathering gloom, their light dying in the dense canopy of the forest, leaving the world beneath enveloped in shadow. The air around the asylum was thick, charged with an anticipation that could almost be felt, a palpable tension that seemed to whisper warnings with every gust of wind. With a heart buoyed by courage yet heavy with an inexplicable fear, Alex faced the ancient rusted gates that stood as silent sentinels to the secrets within. With a resolve that masked the turmoil within, Alex pushed against the gates. They groaned in protest, a sound that seemed to echo through the empty halls beyond, as if the asylum itself was stirring from its slumber. Taking a moment to steady their racing heart, Alex stepped over the threshold, crossing into a realm where history and horror intertwined, venturing into the heart of darkness that awaited within Ashen Hollow. Alex's journey into the heart of Ashen Hollow Asylum was fueled by a complex cocktail of adrenaline and a deep-seated fascination with the paranormal world. Amidst tales of spectral apparitions roaming the dilapidated halls, inanimate objects acquiring a life of their own, and pockets of unexplainable, bone-chilling cold, Alex's mission was clear: to secure incontrovertible proof of the supernatural. This wasn't just about the thrill of potentially brushing shoulders with the afterlife. Alex was on a quest for a tangible link to the myriad souls that had once wandered these corridors, burdened with their own stories of despair and longing for solace. To capture such phenomena on camera would be to offer a voice to those silenced by time, a chance to weave the tangible with the spectral into a narrative that could bridge the chasm between the past and the present. Upon entering the asylum, the shift from anticipation to an enveloping sense of foreboding was immediate. The beam of Alex's flashlight served as a solitary beacon in the consuming darkness, slicing through the gloom to unveil the desolation within. Walls where paint hung like withered leaves, furniture upended in a final chaotic dance, and hallways littered with the detritus of abandonment. This once thriving bastion of hope and despair now lay in silent testimony to its own downfall, the air heavy with the weight of untold stories. The stillness was profound, a suffocating silence that seemed to swallow even the sound of Alex's cautious footsteps, save for the intermittent haunting plink of water betraying the asylum's slow succumb to decay. Each room appeared to hold its secrets tightly, as if the very walls were poised on the brink of revelation, yet hesitant to disturb the delicate veil of silence that draped over the asylum. As Alex delved further into the bowels of Ashen Hollow Asylum, the air turned bitingly cold, an icy caress that seemed almost sentient in its intent, chilling not just the body, but the soul. The goal that had once been a beacon, driving Alex forward, now seemed to dissolve into the miasma of fear and doubt permeating the air. The flashlight's beam, a lone warrior against the encroaching darkness, revealed shadows that danced and twisted at its periphery, as if mocking the light's attempt to unveil what was meant to remain unseen. An inescapable sensation of being observed, scrutinized by unseen eyes, clung to Alex, its intensity magnifying with each step deeper into the asylum's heart. Yet, it was this very fear, gnawing relentlessly at the fringes of Alex's resolve, that served to steel their determination. The truth that lay shrouded within the crumbling walls of Ashen Hollow called to Alex, a siren song of secrets and sorrow that could not be ignored. Compelled by a resolve as unyielding as the stone walls around them, Alex made the decision to navigate toward the east wing of the asylum. The choice was fueled by more than mere curiosity. It was a deliberate plunge into the eye of the storm, driven by whispers of the East Wing's notoriety as the nucleus of the asylum's most harrowing tales. Armed with nothing but a dimly lit flashlight and a heart heavy with determination, Alex moved toward the patient rooms, guided by the lines of an ancient bleached map that had been fortuitously discovered near the forsaken entrance. This section of Ashen Hollow was steeped in rumors of nightmarish occurrences, of shadows that whispered secrets of the mad, of walls that bled despair, and of rooms that held the imprints of souls too tortured to find peace. This was where the veil between the seen and unseen was rumored to be thinnest, where the echoes of the past were most palpable. Alex's decision to venture here was not merely a step into the physical remnants of the asylum, but a leap into the very essence of its haunting legacy. As Alex wove their way through the cramped, cluttered corridors of the East Wing, a chilling realization began to dawn. The desolate asylum might not be as devoid of life, or whatever semblance of it that lingered, as initially thought. Amidst the heavy silence, a sound emerged, so faint at first that it might have been dismissed as a trick of the imagination. It was a soft, irregular tapping, a morose rhythm that seemed to dance with the shadows, pausing only to gather a more sinister cadence before resuming. Drawn by a combination of trepidation and an insatiable curiosity, Alex traced the sound to its source, a heavy, weathered door, barely clinging to its frame, inviting yet foreboding. With a heart thrumming against the confines of reason, Alex nudged the door further open, its protest echoing like a scream in the quiet, amplifying the sense of isolation that permeated the air. The room unveiled was a tableau of moonlit desolation, the fractured windows allowing slivers of light to play upon the detritus of years forgotten, creating a macabre dance of shadows and light. As the door came to a rest, the tapping ceased, as though the very presence of an intruder had silenced the unseen performer. The sudden stillness was more unnerving than the sound itself, a suffocating blanket of silence that seemed to herald the onset of something both grim and intangible. Alex stood on the threshold, caught between the world they knew and a realm rife with the unknown, their breath caught in their throat. The room, with its cloak of shadows and fragmented light, seemed to hold a presence, an entity that had paused its restless stirring to observe the interloper. The cessation of the tapping was not a reassurance but a harbinger, a moment suspended in time before the unknown could unveil itself. With every fiber of their being screaming for caution, yet propelled by a desire to uncover the mysteries of Ashen Hollow, Alex stepped into the room, into the waiting embrace of the shadows. As the beam of Alex's flashlight cut through the gloom, it unveiled a scene that was at once mundane and inexplicably sinister. In the heart of the room, shrouded in shadows, stood a solitary table. Upon it, an old metal cup lay on its side as if discarded mid-use. The floor around was littered with a smattering of chairs, their arrangements haphazard, as though left by attendees of a gathering long since concluded. The cup, with its dull metallic sheen under the flashlight's beam, appeared as the innocent culprit behind the eerie tapping that had led Alex to this place. Yet the room bore no sign of current occupancy, no hint of life that could explain the deliberate movement of the cup. The cessation of the sound upon Alex's entrance wove a heavy blanket of unease around them, the air growing noticeably colder as if to echo the chill that ran down Alex's spine. An unmistakable sensation of being observed from unseen vantages permeated the atmosphere, transforming the room from merely abandoned to palpably hostile. It was in this moment that the whispered tales of Ashen Hollow Asylum, of its haunted halls and unseen inhabitants, seemed to crystallize into a stark, unnerving reality. The stories, once abstract warnings, now felt like prescient guides to a truth far more complex and horrifying than Alex could have imagined. With their pulse thundering in their ears, a crossroads presented itself to Alex. To press on, driven by a near-reckless need to untangle the web of mysteries that the asylum cradled in its decaying embrace, or to heed the primal instinct to flee, to leave behind the secrets that thrummed with malevolent promise within these walls. This decision, poised on the knife edge of curiosity and self-preservation, would define the path ahead. Each option carried its own weight, its own potential for revelation or ruin. The choice was Alex's alone, a moment of introspection in the face of an abyss that gazed back, unblinking and inscrutable. Compelled by an intricate mix of apprehension and intrigue, Alex chose to navigate deeper into the enigma of Ashen Hollow Asylum. The logical part of their mind sought comfort in rational explanations for the mysterious tapping. A rogue draft, perhaps, or the simple stirrings of the forest's smaller denizens seeking shelter within the asylum's crumbling embrace. Yet these mundane theories did little to quell the unease that had taken root in their heart, the impeccable timing of the sound cessation too peculiar to dismiss as mere coincidence. It was the thirst for understanding, the burning desire to validate the ghostly lore that had drawn them to this forsaken place, that steeled Alex's nerve against the primal urge to turn back. But as Alex prepared to exit the room, their solitary source of light betrayed them. The flashlight, once a steadfast beacon against the all-consuming dark, began to flicker, a brief, frantic dance of light and shadow, before succumbing to the darkness entirely. Panic, swift and suffocating, gripped Alex as they stood enveloped in an impenetrable blackness, the silence of the abandoned asylum now a cacophony in their ears. Frantically, Alex attempted to coax life back into the flashlight with shakes and taps, each failed attempt amplifying the realization of their vulnerability. Isolated in the heart of darkness, far removed from any semblance of safety or familiarity, the walls of Ashen Hollow seemed to close in, a tangible manifestation of the fear that threatened to overwhelm Alex's resolve. In this moment of utter darkness, the stark reality of their situation became inescapable. Every story, every whispered legend of the asylum's haunted past surged to the forefront of Alex's mind, transforming the shadows into specters, the silence into whispers. Stranded in the void, Alex's determination faced its greatest test, the line between the pursuit of truth and the instinct for self-preservation blurred by the enveloping dark. Yet it was within this crucible of fear that Alex's resolve hardened. The journey into the unknown, into the very depths of Ashen Hollow, was far from over. It had merely transformed, becoming a test of wills against the unseen forces that lay in wait within the asylum's oppressive embrace. In the profound darkness that had claimed Ashen Hollow Asylum as its domain, a new sound arose, slicing through the stillness with a visceral intensity. It was a sobbing, low and inconsolable, its echoes weaving through the corridors with an eerie clarity. This sound, undeniably human in its expression of grief, pierced the shroud of fear that had enveloped Alex, replacing it with a compelling blend of empathy and a relentless drive for discovery. The sorrow carried in those sobs spoke of depths of despair, far surpassing the mere discomfort of darkness, stirring within Alex a need to reach out, to understand, perhaps even to offer solace. Guided by the intermittent moonlight that fought its way through gaps in the boarded-up windows, Alex ventured forth, drawn by the heart-wrenching sounds of lament. The asylum, with its myriad secrets, seemed to momentarily recede, giving way to a singular focus on the source of the sobbing. It led them deeper into the bowels of the building, towards the therapy rooms, spaces once filled with the confessions and cries of the troubled souls who had sought refuge within these walls. Here, the most intimate fears and pains were laid bare, in a vain search for healing that the asylum promised but seldom delivered. As Alex neared these chambers of whispered secrets and silent screams, the sobbing intensified, becoming a palpable presence that filled the air with a desperate, haunting energy. Then, as suddenly as it had begun, it ceased, leaving a silence so profound, so complete, that it seemed to erase the very concept of sound from the world. This abrupt transition from despair to silence was more terrifying than any noise could ever be, enveloping the space with an anticipation of something yet to come, something lurking within the stillness. This chilling cessation of sound left Alex in a limbo of expectation, the silence a heavy cloak that threatened to smother the last flickers of courage they held. Yet, it was this very absence of sound that sharpened Alex's resolve, a reminder of the purpose that had driven them into the heart of Ashen Hollow. The quest for understanding, for unveiling the truths hidden in the shadows of the past, propelled Alex forward, even as the silence seemed to stretch into infinity, a void waiting to be filled by whatever dared to break it. In the palpable silence that had descended upon the once turbulent atmosphere of Ashen Hollow Asylum, Alex experienced a chilling intrusion. A breath, cold and deliberate, caressed the nape of their neck, sending a jolt of primal fear through their body. This ethereal touch, so distinctly felt yet belonging to no visible source, shattered the illusion of solitude. With a surge of adrenaline, Alex whipped around, only to be greeted by the sight of the desolate corridor, its decayed state bearing no witness to the presence just felt. It was at this moment, teetering on the edge of terror and intrigue, that the flashlight, previously unresponsive, sputtered back to life. Its beam, though weak and quivering, cast light upon a stark message etched into the wall across from Alex. Leave. The simplicity of the command, carved with desperate clarity into the crumbling plaster, served as both a warning and a testament to the asylum's dark sentience. This cryptic directive, rather than evoking fear or compliance, ignited a fierce resolve within Alex. The message, whether born from benevolence or malice, underscored the reality of the unseen forces at play within the confines of the asylum. With the flashlight now a beacon against the encroaching darkness, Alex ventured deeper into the heart of Ashen Hollow. The imperative to depart, etched so clearly in the shadows of the past, now served as a paradoxical guide, fueling Alex's determination to uncover the entity or entities that whispered from the walls, that breathed cold despair into the air. This renewed purpose lent Alex a sense of clarity amidst the enveloping uncertainty. Each step taken was a defiance of the silent command to leave, a testament to human curiosity and the relentless pursuit of truth. The asylum, with its labyrinthine corridors and vaults of untold stories, now stood not just as a relic of forgotten sorrows, but as a challenge to be met. Alex, armed with little more than a flickering light and a heart full of questions, pressed onward, driven by the need to pierce the veil of mystery that shrouded Ashen Hollow and to confront whatever truths lay buried within its walls. In the shadowed heart of Ashen Hollow Asylum, where the air was thick with the dust of forgotten years, Alex discovered a doorway that seemed almost to call out to those who dared to uncover the asylum's buried truths. Pushing open the door, they entered what once served as the archive room, a repository of the asylum's darkest secrets and saddest tales. The room was a chaos of decay, with piles of documents strewn about, a testament to the myriad lives that had intersected with this place of despair. Amidst the detritus of abandoned history, Alex's flashlight illuminated the tangible remnants of the past. Patient records frayed at the edges, staff memos faded by time, and brittle newspapers that whispered of days long gone. These documents, left to molder in the forgotten silence, revealed the harrowing narrative of Ashen Hollow. It had been a final refuge for those cast aside by society, where the line between treatment and torment was blurred by practices both archaic and cruel. It was in this grim context that Alex's gaze fell upon a file that seemed to pulse with a story yearning to be told. The file belonged to Eleanor, a patient whose name was etched in the annals of the asylum not just for the tragedy of her life, but for the peculiar sensitivity she bore, a psychic empathy that made her a receptacle for the emotions and thoughts of those around her. Misunderstood and mistreated, Eleanor's abilities had isolated her in a world that was as cruel as it was unforgiving. The notes within her file sketched the contours of a life marked by sorrow and a spirit that, even in death, could not find release from the asylum's oppressive walls. It was suggested in hushed tones and sideways glances captured in scribbled margins that Eleanor's essence remained tethered to Ashen Hollow, a guardian or prisoner of the place that had been both her refuge and her prison. The tragic tale of Eleanor, distilled in the yellowed pages of her file, resonated with Alex, a poignant reminder of the human stories that lay buried beneath the legends and ghost tales. Moved by Eleanor's story, Alex felt a profound connection to the past and the lost souls who had once roamed these halls. The archive room, with its silent witnesses to pain and perseverance, became a bridge across time, linking Alex to the spirit of Eleanor. Determined to uncover more about her and the circumstances that bound her to Ashen Hollow, Alex delved deeper into the records, the beam of their flashlight a lone sentinel in the pursuit of truth within the shadows of forgotten lives. In the dim light of the archive room, surrounded by the remnants of a bygone era, Alex became a conduit through which the sorrowful tales of Ashen Hollow's inhabitants flowed. Each file, each fragment of paper, whispered fragments of lives cut short by tragedy, misunderstanding, and the cruel hand of fate. The realization dawned on Alex that the eerie phenomena they had encountered, the mysterious sobbing, the chilling breath on their neck, even the unsettling command to leave, were not merely residual hauntings, but expressions of the unresolved anguish and torment that permeated the very fabric of the asylum. The possibility that the plaintive crying belonged to Eleanor, a soul so sensitive to the suffering of others, yet so profoundly misunderstood in life, struck a chord within Alex. It presented a narrative thread that wove through the heartache and despair captured in the decaying documents and led to the spectral activities haunting the halls of Ashen Hollow. Empathy for Eleanor's plight, combined with a burgeoning understanding of the depth of suffering that had occurred within these walls, fueled Alex's resolve. They were compelled not just by the desire to document the paranormal, but by a burgeoning need to offer solace to those spirits, like Eleanor's, that were trapped in a perpetual cycle of sorrow. Armed with the determination to unearth more about the asylum's tragic past, and driven by a newfound purpose to aid these restless spirits, Alex sifted through the accounts of other patients. Each story was a testament to the asylum's legacy of pain, a legacy that seemed to have seeped into the very stones of Ashen Hollow, manifesting as the spectral occurrences that Alex was now bearing witness to. The suffering of these souls, long departed yet bound to the site of their anguish, appeared to be the catalyst for the haunting phenomena. This revelation, while daunting, only strengthened Alex's commitment. Understanding that the paranormal manifestations they had encountered were deeply entwined with the asylum's sorrowful history, Alex sought not only to uncover more about the lives of those who had suffered here, but also to find a way to help these tormented spirits find the peace that had eluded them in life. With each step deeper into the archives, Alex was not just delving into the past, but stepping onto a path that might lead to reconciliation and release for the souls of Ashen Hollow. Under the spectral glow of the moon, its light a pale beacon amidst the ruins of Ashen Hollow Asylum, the night air seemed to thrum with an unseen energy. The silence of the archives, once oppressive, now felt charged with anticipation, as if the very essence of the place awaited Alex's next move. Guided by a newfound resolve and a deep-seated compassion for the souls entangled in the asylum's tragic legacy, Alex prepared to bridge the gap between the living and the spectral. The story of Eleanor, a beacon of unresolved sorrow, called out from the annals of forgotten pain, urging Alex to extend a hand in empathy and recognition of her suffering. In a quiet corner of the archive room, amidst the scattered remnants of the past, Alex set the stage for a communion of spirits. A voice recorder, its microphone sensitive to the whispers of the otherworld, lay ready to capture any messages from beyond the veil. Alongside it, a small candle flickered to life, its flame a solitary sentinel against the encompassing darkness, a symbol of hope and warmth in a place long devoid of both. This simple act, grounded in respect and a desire for connection, served as an invitation to Eleanor and any other spirits seeking solace or passage. With the stage set, Alex spoke into the stillness, their voice a gentle but firm beacon amidst the shadows. Eleanor, and all who reside within these walls, I acknowledge your pain, your fears, and the injustices you endured. I am here to listen, to understand, and to offer you the peace you've been denied. The words, sincere and heartfelt, floated through the air, an offering of understanding and reconciliation to those bound to Ashen Hollow by chains of sorrow. The flickering candlelight cast dancing shadows across the room, as if the very atmosphere responded to Alex's call. The voice recorder, silent witness to this sacred moment, stood ready to capture any response from the unseen, any acknowledgement from the spirits that lingered in eternal twilight. In this solemn tableau, Alex waited, a lone emissary bridging the gap between worlds, hopeful that this gesture of empathy would resonate with the souls of the asylum, offering them a chance for expression, for release, or simply for acknowledgement of their existence and their suffering. In the hushed confines of what once served as a communal haven for the asylum's residents, Alex initiated a solemn ritual of remembrance and outreach. The selected space, laden with the echoes of days when it might have buzzed with the life and activity of patients seeking solace in each other's company, now stood as a silent witness to Alex's attempt to pierce the veil between worlds. The candle, carefully placed on a surface that had likely once supported cups of tea or games of cards, now bore a different significance. Its flame, small yet defiant against the encroaching darkness, bathed the room in a soft, welcoming light, creating a sanctuary amidst the decay. With the voice recorder activated, its red light a steady pulse in the dim light, Alex reached out into the void with words heavy with empathy and respect. Speaking directly to Eleanor, Alex invoked her name with a reverence that acknowledged her suffering and her unique sensitivity that, in life, had been so deeply misunderstood. The air around them seemed to hold its breath as Alex's voice broke the silence, a direct appeal to Eleanor's spirit to make itself known, to share its story, or simply to acknowledge the connection Alex sought to forge. Eleanor, my name is Alex. I've read about your life, your sensitivity, and your pain. I'm here to listen, to understand. If there's anything you wish to say, any message you want to share, please speak to me. You're not forgotten. The words, spoken with genuine intent, hung in the air, an open invitation to Eleanor and any other spirits lingering in the shadows of Ashen Hollow. In this moment, Alex represented a bridge between the living and the dead, offering a rare opportunity for the voices of the past to be heard, for the silence to speak once more. The candle flickered, as though stirred by the weight of Alex's words, casting shadows that danced along the walls with a life of their own. The voice recorder, silent yet expectant, awaited the chance to capture a whisper from beyond, a sign that Eleanor or any spirit touched by Alex's message might choose to reach back across the divide. In the solemn quiet that enveloped the room, where the past seemed almost palpable, Alex waited with bated breath, the silence amplifying every minor sound, the gentle crackling of the candle and the building's age-old groans and whispers. Time stretched on, a testament to the patience and respect Alex brought to this moment of hopeful contact. The atmosphere was thick with anticipation, a silent plea for a sign, any acknowledgement from the spirits that roamed the forgotten corridors of Ashen Hollow Asylum. Just as doubt began to creep into Alex's mind, casting a shadow over their intentions, a disturbance broke through the stillness. From the voice recorder, a device now serving as a bridge between realms, came a whisper. It was soft, fragile, as if carried on the breeze from some distant place within the asylum's walls. The initial murmur was too faint to decipher, a spectral breath that left Alex's skin tingling with a mixture of awe and apprehension. Compelled by a mix of excitement and a deep-rooted need to aid these lost souls, Alex replayed the recording, their senses heightened in the quest for clarity. This time, the voice emerged from the white noise with a poignant clarity, bearing a message that resonated with a profound sadness. "Help us." The simplicity of the plea, coupled with the weight of countless untold stories and unheeded cries for relief, struck Alex deeply. It was a call from the shadows, a direct communication from those who had been silenced by tragedy and time. The words, though few, were laden with the enormity of the asylum's legacy of suffering and despair. They served as a powerful reminder of the purpose that had guided Alex to this forsaken place, to bear witness to the pain of those who could no longer speak for themselves and to seek ways to offer them peace. With the evidence of a connection now captured within the voice recorder, Alex was more determined than ever to understand the needs of the spirits of Ashen Hollow and to find a way to heed their call for help, to offer them the solace that had eluded them in life. Alex's foray into the unknown, marked by an attempt to bridge the gap between the living and the dead, had inadvertently shifted the atmosphere within Ashen Hollow Asylum. The air, already thick with the weight of untold stories, now carried a chill that seemed to seep into the very bones, a testament to the presence of those unseen. The candle, once a beacon of hope and warmth, flickered wildly as if buffeted by the breath of spirit stirred from slumber by Alex's call. Shadows danced with a newfound vigor against the walls, casting grotesque shapes that moved with an eerie autonomy. It was clear that the acknowledgement of Eleanor's existence, combined with the heartfelt plea for help captured on the voice recorder, had resonated with the other spirits of the asylum. Their restless energy now filled the space, a collective yearning for attention, for acknowledgement, for release. This unintended awakening placed Alex at a crossroads, facing a decision that held profound implications not just for themselves, but for the spirits clamoring for solace. On one hand, there was the option to delve deeper, to commit to the path of understanding and aiding these trapped souls, despite the unknown dangers that such a choice entailed. This would mean venturing further into the heart of the asylum's mystery, seeking out the means to provide peace to the spirits, a daunting task fraught with both peril and the potential for profound spiritual fulfillment. On the other hand, the escalation of paranormal activity could be seen as a sign to retreat, to seek assistance from individuals more versed in the intricacies of the supernatural. This option, while perhaps seen as a retreat, carried with it the wisdom of recognizing one's own limitations and the importance of approaching such potent forces with expertise and caution. The decision before Alex was emblematic of the broader journey of any who dare to tread the thin line between the known and the unknown, the seen and the unseen. It was a choice between pressing forward into the shadows with a heart driven by a desire to heal and seeking the light of knowledge and assistance from others. Whichever path Alex chose, the experience within Ashen Hollow Asylum had irrevocably changed them, igniting a deeper understanding of the complexities of the paranormal and the poignant stories of the spirits that linger in places marked by tragedy and loss. Alex, standing at the precipice of the unknown within the forsaken halls of Ashen Hollow Asylum, made a choice that was both brave and compassionate. With a heart heavy with the stories and pleas of the spirits that dwelled in the shadows, Alex committed to a path of resolution and peace for those tormented souls. Before stepping beyond the asylum's threshold for what would not be the last time, Alex offered a solemn vow into the silence of the abandoned corridors. "I will return," they promised, their voice a steady beacon in the gloom. This pledge was not just a string of words, but a lifeline, a beacon of hope cast into the depths of despair that had claimed the spirits of Ashen Hollow. As Alex emerged from the darkness of the asylum into the night, the oppressive air that had clung to them within those walls seemed to dissipate under the moon's watchful eye. The path through the forest, once a daunting journey into uncertainty, now felt like a bridge between the promise of aid and the spirits left waiting in the silent agony of the past. In the days that followed, Alex sought out allies in the quest to honor their promise. The team of paranormal researchers they approached was known not just for their expertise in the realm of the supernatural, but for the care and respect they brought to their interactions with both the living and the dead. Alex shared the poignant tale of Eleanor, the recordings that whispered of a pain so profound it transcended death, and the histories of suffering entwined with the very essence of Ashen Hollow. Moved by the evidence and the sincerity of Alex's commitment, the team agreed to lend their skills and knowledge to the cause. Together, they began to lay the groundwork for a return to the asylum, armed with a deeper understanding and tools designed to communicate with, and ultimately, offer solace to the spirits. This collaboration marked the beginning of a journey not just to unravel the mysteries of Ashen Hollow, but to forge a path toward peace for its unseen inhabitants. Alex's vow to return, now shared by a team of like-minded individuals, was a testament to the power of empathy and determination in the face of the unknown, a first step in transforming a place marked by sorrow into a beacon of hope for those who had been lost in the shadows. The team's return to Ashen Hollow Asylum, led by Alex's unwavering commitment, was a venture into the heart of darkness with a beacon of hope. As they crossed the threshold of the asylum, the air crackled with the unseen, the very fabric of the place thrumming with the echoes of its tortured past. The team was well prepared, armed not only with technology designed to pierce the veil between worlds, but with an understanding of the importance of empathy and respect in their interactions with the spirits they sought to aid. As they embarked on their carefully planned vigils, the asylum seemed to respond to their presence, its dormant energies awakening. The cold whispers of the unseen brushed against their skin, shadowy figures flickered at the edge of their vision, and the air was punctuated by unexplained cold spots that defied the laws of physics. Yet, undeterred by these manifestations, the team pressed on, guided by a profound respect for the souls that lingered in Ashen Hollow. It was in the act of acknowledging the individual stories of suffering, of recognizing the humanity behind the haunting, that the team began to perceive a change. The oppressive atmosphere that had once blanketed the asylum began to dissipate, as if the very act of acknowledgement served as a balm to the wounds inflicted by history's neglect. The paranormal phenomena, once an overwhelming presence, started to fade, their intensity diminishing as the team continued their work. Eleanor's spirit, which had so poignantly reached out to Alex during their initial visit, became a focal point of this transformation. The recordings captured her whispers, once laden with the weight of unendurable sorrow, now carried a different tone. There was a lightness to them, a release from the chains of despair that had bound her to the asylum. Her messages, though still ethereal, spoke of gratitude and a burgeoning peace, as if the team's efforts had provided her with a pathway out of the darkness that had enveloped her existence. This shift in the atmosphere of Ashen Hollow Asylum was a testament to the power of understanding, compassion, and the human desire to bring solace to those who had suffered. The team's work, grounded in a deep respect for the spirits and their stories, had not only begun to offer peace to the souls of the asylum, but also transformed the place itself. Ashen Hollow, once a monument to sorrow and despair, now stood as a beacon of hope, a symbol of the possibility of peace, even for those long thought lost to the shadows. As the team gathered for their final session within the walls of Ashen Hollow Asylum, there was a palpable sense of anticipation and solemnity. This last vigil was not just a farewell, but a ceremony of liberation, designed to offer the spirits that had found themselves anchored to the site a chance to move beyond their earthly bindings. Alex stood with the team, feeling the weight of the moment, a culmination of efforts to heal the wounds of the past. As they commenced, the air within the asylum seemed to listen, a hush falling over the once tumultuous energy that pervaded the corridors. The team's words, spoken with respect and an earnest desire for peace, filled the spaces between the shadows, offering a bridge to the beyond for those who had lingered in sorrow. And then, as if in acknowledgement of their efforts, a serene calm descended upon Ashen Hollow, a quiet so profound it felt as if the building itself breathed a sigh of relief. In the time that followed, Ashen Hollow Asylum underwent a quiet transformation. The chilling tales and eerie experiences that had once defined it began to fade, replaced by a tranquility that whispered of resolution and rest. Alex, whose journey had started with a mix of curiosity and courage, found themselves returning to the asylum, not in pursuit of the paranormal, but as a custodian of its history. The silence that now enveloped the place was not one of abandonment, but of peace, a tribute to the souls who had suffered, and now, finally, found rest. Alex's initial foray into the unknown, driven by a quest for understanding, had blossomed into a profound mission of healing. By choosing to listen, to acknowledge, and to act, Alex had not only changed their own path, but had altered the essence of Ashen Hollow itself. The asylum, once a locus of despair, now stood as a monument to the power of empathy, to the possibility of redemption and peace for even the most troubled spirits. This transformation of Ashen Hollow from a site of spectral unrest to a place of quietude served as a testament to the idea that understanding and compassion can bridge worlds, offering solace to the suffering, whether living or beyond. Alex's journey, marked by an initial desire to explore the unknown, had evolved into a guardianship of memory, ensuring that the stories of Ashen Hollow's residents, in their pain and their release, would never be forgotten. In embracing the calls for help that echoed through the asylum's halls, Alex had not only facilitated a peace for those who had been bound to the site, but had also discovered a new purpose in the space between the shadows and the light. This tale of courage, curiosity, and the quest for peace among the restless spirits of Ashen Hollow is but one chapter in the vast anthology of the unexplained and the paranormal that surrounds us. As we close this story, we turn to you, our viewers, to decide where our next journey into the unknown will take us. Do you know of a place shrouded in mystery, a location whispered about in hushed tones, feared or avoided by those who know its stories? Share your suggestions in the comments below, and together we may unravel another chapter of the hidden truths that lie in the shadows of our world.